Hello and welcome once again, ladies and gentlemen, to our virtual classroom. Today, what I want to do is go over some of the problems here on 21-1. 21-1, that is having to do with finding the percentage or finding the percent, meaning that we are going to be following this model, ladies and gentlemen, for every single one of these problems, wherein we are going to be given a part, and with that part is going to be a part of a whole or a total, and we want to find the percentage always being something out of 100. So in essence, we are filling in the blanks on something like this. All right, we're going to have two fractions. One is going to represent the part, the numerator, and then below that's going to be the whole, which is going to be equivalent to some part or some percent over 100, and that is exactly what we're looking for. You're going to find that pattern in all of these, just like we went to in class. Before we continue, I am going to be drawing directly from the notes, where our first step will always be to line up the fractions, which is exactly what we're doing up here. Whenever you set up both fractions, part over whole is equal to p over 100, that is us lining up the equivalent fractions. And we're going to do that to know what to multiply, just like we have here in this example. We're going to create an equation using the cross products, where one of the cross products will go to the left of the equation and the other cross multiplication will go to the right. And finally, we're going to divide both sides by the number next to the letter. Once we have our equation, I see my letter right here, meaning I'm going to divide by 20. And whatever I do to one side, I do to the other. And by doing that, ladies and gentlemen, 20 divided by 20 is 1. That's going to tell me what I need to do to get my answer. In this case, divide 700 by 20, etc. So let's go ahead and continue our assignment with number. We did 4 in class. We did 5 in class. Let's go ahead and continue with number 6. Let's go ahead and continue with number 6. All right, here's number 6. And number 6 reads, the boy's aunt, okay, so there's an aunt, and she's going to help out her boys, wants to contribute $2,100 towards the cost. You might think the total cost. Okay, so we need to find the total cost. That's the total. The question is asking, well, what percent of 2,500 is this, meaning the 2,100? Beginning with this amount right here, 2,100 is what she's contributing. And that is a part of the total amount. And the total amount is actually given to us down here. That is the total amount, meaning we have the part over the whole. Notice that if we go back to our model, that is half of what we need already. We need part over whole, part over whole. So if I go back to my OneNote, part over whole, if I do part over whole, my part over whole is 2,100 is my part over the whole, which is 2,500. Ladies and gentlemen, I am already halfway done. Remember, I need to fill in this model. Here's my first fraction. Let's see if we can do our second fraction. It's asking what percent. Guys, as soon as you hear the word percent, you know, okay, I need something over the number 100. I'm looking for something over the number 100. I don't know what that is, so I'm going to use a letter, a variable, a letter to show me that I don't know what that is. That is what I'm looking for. That is what I'm looking for. Good. 2,100 is a part out of 2,500. We want to know what percent 2,100 is of 2,500. All right, that is step number 1. Step number 1 complete. Step number 2, we're going to make an equation. This is what I want you to do. Literally underneath where you wrote down this fraction, you're going to make an equal sign, and we're going to make an equation here. And one side of the equation is simply going to be the cross product. Here I have 2,500 times P, okay? 2,500 times P. Now, of course, I don't know what P is, but I know that that's my cross product. And my other cross product is simply going to be 2,100 times 100. So 2,100 times 100. Now I can actually multiply this together. So I'm just going to write the answer. 2,100 times 100 is simply going to be 210,000. So I basically add 2 zeros to here. Anytime you multiply by 100, you just get the number and add 2 zeros. So now we have 2,500 times P is equal to is equal to 210,000. Or 210,000 is equal to 200,500 times P. Very good. Our final step, ladies and gentlemen, is to divide by the number next to the variable. Notice that here is the letter. Sorry, the letter is right here. And that means that I need to divide by the number next to that. And what number is next to that? It is the number 2,500. So I'm going to divide. Remember, fraction means division. I like to do it as a fraction. I'm going to divide by 2,500. I'm dividing both sides by the number next to the variable. Why am I dividing by the number next to the letter? Why am I dividing by that number? Because I don't want that number. I'm only interested in P. All right. So if I divide by that number, that gets rid of it. I'm left with P. And that's going to equal to whatever 210,000 divided by 2,500 is. Notice though, ladies and gentlemen, that they do share a zero. If I get rid of that zero, now I have 21,000 divided by 250. That's going to give me the same thing. And notice that they have another common zero. So in that case, now I have 2,100 divided by 25. That's going to give me my answer. So let's go ahead and divide 2,100 by 25. 25 goes into 0 times. It goes into 21 0 times, but it goes into 2,100 8 times, because 25 times 8 is 200. Notice how neat I'm trying to be. You can at least tell what numbers are on top of each other so that I don't get confused. Here, that's going to give me 10. Bring down the 0. Oh, sorry, that should be subtraction. I don't know why I put a plus sign. That should have been subtraction. Subtraction. Okay. There we go. There you go. Okay. So 210 minus 200 is 10. We bring down the 0. Now 25 goes into 100 4 times, which is exactly 100. Ladies and gentlemen, my answer is 84, meaning my percentage is 84%. That would be the answer to number 6. Again, number 1, I lined it up. Part over the whole is equal to P over 100. Number 2, I use cross products to make an equation. Okay, on one side I had 2,500 times P, on the other I had 2,100 times 100. So over here, step number 3, we divide by the number next to the letter. And so that would be 2,500. So I divided both sides by 2,500, giving me 84. Good, let's try another one. If you are a little confused, I encourage you to watch that again. I'm going to move a little faster with this next one. Let's go ahead and do number 7. Number 7, we have 300 is what percent of 3,200? In other words, we have 300 is a part of 3,200. And that is my part over my whole. And I want to know what percent. In other words, I don't know what percent. Remember, a percent is something over 100. So I need to figure out what that something over 100 needs to be. Excellent. Next, let's go ahead and make another equation. But this equation is going to be my cross products. Let's cross multiply. So I'm going to multiply 3,200 times P. So we have 3,200 times P. And on my other side, I'm going to have 100 times 300, which is simply going to be 300 times 100, 300 times 100, we just add 2 zeros. It's going to be 30,000. Finally, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to divide by the number next to the letter. The letter is right here, meaning I'm going to divide by 3,200. Divide by 3,200. All right, that's going to cancel out. But whatever I do to one side, we do to the other. I need to divide 30,000 by 3,200. Good. Now, my P, my percent, is going to be 30,000 divided by 3,200. Notice, ladies and gentlemen, how they have a common 0 right here. So I can cross those out. Another common 0 right here. I can cross those out. So that's really going to be 300 divided by 32. All right. 300 divided into 32. All right. 30 can go into 309 times. That's going to be 288. Very good. We subtracted. It's going to be 2, 9, 10, 2, 1, 0. So that's going to be, notice how there's nothing left, meaning I need to continue by adding a decimal, and I'm going to bring down a 0. 120. 32 goes into 120. I believe it would be 3 times. 32 times 3 would be 96. 96. Let us subtract. That's going to be 1, 10, 4. We have 24. 24. I need to keep going, bring down a 0. All right, 32 goes into 47 times, I believe, because when you multiply that by 7, 32 times 7, that's going to be 14. 3 times 7 is 21. 22, 224. So 224. That would be a remainder of, let's see here, that would be 3, 10, that would be 6, 1, 0. 16, one more time, bring down a 0. I know it's going on for a while, but that's actually going to be exactly 5. So my final answer is going to be, my value for P will be 9 and 375 thousandths percent, because it's 9.375 over 100. So this is my final answer. All you have to do is put that on Schoology because the percent sign is already there. Again, the division was the hardest part here, but notice I lined it up. Part over whole is equal to percent over 100. All right, 3,200 is my 100%. 300 is my part, which is equal to the percentage. Number 2, I cross multiplied to make my equation. So 3,200 times P is on one side, 300 times 100 is on the other side of the equation. Yes, I did an equal sign there. So I know what's on either side. And finally, I divided by the number next to the variable. So I divided both sides by 3,200. I divided by 3,200. And then I just simplified this by crossing out the zeros. And that gave me 9.375. Check it out with the calculator. It will give you the same answer. Good. Let me just do one more. Let me do an easy one. Just so that you can easily see the process. And the easy one is going to be number 9, which is actually the next one that we have to do. Number 9 reads, Nate and Isaac decided that they also needed a work schedule to accommodate their DJ businesses. They planned to spend 12 out of 20 work hours. That's already a part over a whole, right? 12 out of 20. And the question is, what percent is this? In other words, 12 is what percent of 20? Or 12/20ths is equal to what percent? Same question. So 12 is my part, out of 20 is my whole, is equal to some percent, which we don't know, out of 100. There it is. Very good. Step number 2, we're going to cross multiply to figure out my equation here. We're going to do 20 times P, good, 20 times P, and we're going to do 100 times 12, which is just 1,200. Very good. Final step, we divide by the number next to the letter. The letter's right here, so I'm going to divide by 20. Divide by 20. Whatever I do to one side, I do to the other. Divide by 20. Notice that 20 divided by 20 is 1. 1 times P is just P. And over here, we divide 1,200 by 20. Notice they do have a common 0. It's the same thing as 120 divided by 2, which would give me 60%. Not too hard, ladies and gentlemen. Same process. As soon as you line up the fractions, you make an equation with a cross multiplication. And then finally, you divide by the number next to the variable. That gives you your final answer when you divide those two. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you found this helpful. And with that in mind, I will see you next time.